Welcome, my friends, to this week's Beating Heart Moment. I'm Fred Johnson, happy to be with you this week as we explore possibilities of the enrichment of our ability to feel a sense of wellness, to feel a sense of centeredness, to support all of the elements of that which we must participate in mind and body and spirit, and what we think and what we eat and what we drink and how we utilize our bodies. And this week, I invite you to practice, make time for moments of stillness. I did some reading in this last week just relative to that, because about midweek I got a real sense that this desire to feel a moment of stillness, a moment of centeredness, a moment of inner peace is so very, very important for each and every one of us every day. And I'm sure some of us do make time for that. But in my conversations, oftentimes I hear people say, there's so much that I have to do, and I'm so busy, and I really want to get a lot of things done, and I've got to go to the gym, and then I've got to get to work, and then I've got to pick up the kids, and I've got to take the dog to the vet, or there's so many many's for us to do. What we hear and what we see, the noise and the busyness of our lives, the noise and the busyness of the city, or the chores that must be done on the farm, or just the beingness of life. That stillness is a really important thing. The experts share with us that to give ourselves time, to cultivate time for stillness and inner peace, can have significant benefits for us mentally, emotionally, and even for our physical well-being. Mental clarity, to give ourselves periods of quiet can help, reduce mental clutter. Emotional balance, stillness creates a space to notice emotions without immediately acting on them, to reduce stress. Research has shown that practices involving quiet reflection, meditation, mindfulness, or just contemplative prayer can lower stress levels. It gives us a greater sense of self awareness. When external noise decreases, it becomes easier to examine our thoughts, our beliefs, our goals, and our values. Time for stillness gives us a sense of inner peace and centeredness that can serve to improve our relationships and can enrich and enhance our creativity and our insights. And that inner peace really can be a foundation for the whole stillness journey. And inner peace can really be a foundation for our health and well-being, and that we can go there. We can be in that place of stillness at any time, even in the midst of noise, even in the midst of our work a day, but to give ourselves permission. Sometimes that inner stillness can manifest itself by just stopping and taking an intentional breath and allowing that intentional breath to be centered here next to the heart. Right now, here at the center, we're in the midst of a huge construction site. You might even be able, off in the distance, to hear the beeping of a construction vehicle that's backing up, or just the noise of our world. But to really allow ourselves, as we utilize what we speak about every day, this beautiful golden triangle of wholeness, health, and wellness, to allow breath to be our foundation, to allow the west wall of our golden triangle to be the intentionality to be in stillness, to breathe into stillness, to welcome a sense of calm, peace, balance, right? And then to breathe into that, or even to tone into that, or sometimes the absence of sound has great power, right? So the breath, the intentionality, and that connectedness to hearing the soft, still whisper of our breath can be our east wall of sounding. So I invite you this week to really give yourself permission to make time, even if it's just for a couple of minutes or for a moment, the powerful imagery and intentionality of the inner chamber of stillness, to give ourselves permission for that. What I have found, sometimes the drum is that which creates the pattern for me where I can really drop into stillness. But this beautiful gift of this moon flute that my colleague gave to me during my period of time when I was recuperating from my hip surgery has come to be the tone and breath that really allows me to drop in to stillness, to really drop into and to breathe in, being in the centeredness of my inner being, of my inner self. This week, give yourself permission to take those moments of stillness. Allow yourself, as we always invite you to hear and feel and honor and embrace the beautiful rhythm of your beating heart. Allow that beating heart to be a part of the shared symphony of the breath in and the breath out. The beautiful song of the breath. Allow yourself to take a moment or a few moments to sit in that beautiful, quiet stillness. Breathe in to the intentionality to be with and to feel the beautiful texture of stillness. And allow the melody of your breath in and breath out to be your sounding partner as you settle into stillness. And I invite you to allow the song of your breath to be that beautiful melodic pattern that allows you to settle into this moment of stillness, to feel it, to embrace it, to breathe into it, to allow it to wrap its arms around you, the stillness arms around you, and to be one in that inner place, and to breathe with the heart, and give yourself permission to have those experiences every day of that inner peace, that inner stillness as we move through our week. I'm going to do it. I do it every week with you. I'm going to really do it. I know oftentimes we share what we need most, and I'm knowing that that's an important practice. That's an important remembrance. That's an important gift that I will give myself every day. And you can do it several times a day or once a day. You know, it's not a test. It's an invitation to give yourself the opportunity to breathe into, to step into a moment of stillness. We've shared this before over past weeks, but my heart tells me it's really, really important for us to give ourselves permission to allow that to be our wellness practice for this week. So have a great week. You know, allow yourself to really see and create beauty, right? I'm also inclined to say give yourself permission to doodle a little bit this week too. Do a little bit of just visual fun, allow that. But be in those precious, precious moments of stillness. All right? Have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next week. Be peaceful. Take care.